بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وأفضل الصلاة وتم التسليم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. First and foremost, I would like to congratulate everybody on the coming of this blessed new month of Ramadan Kareem to everybody. I normally would have presented these words, or today will be just a concise overview of what I would normally present on the Jummah khutbah in Solihull, but considering our current circumstances, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not allowed us to meet for the last 4 or 5 weeks, and we hope that Allah gives us tawfiq to meet again and attend the Jummah again and to share that blessed gathering. Today, inshallah ta'ala, just a few words as a reminder for the coming of this blessed month and what we need to be looking at internally and also our behavior externally, and some benefits and fawaid for this blessed month. The month of Ramadan is a month that we should thank Allah Jalla wa Ala every year that we've been part of it, or if we get an opportunity, which inshallah we will do this year, to partake in. Many of us have left this world and were not able or are not able to partake in this month that's forthcoming and share in its blessings. So first and foremost, we have to make or give thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for allowing us to enter this blessed month. Secondly, it's a month that has many special features. It was the most beloved month to the Messenger of God alayhi salatu wasalam, and therefore it should be the most blessed month for us as well. In this particular month, the reason it was so blessed to the Messenger of God there were a few underlining reasons. First and foremost, the Prophet ﷺ was known to be ajwadun nasi fi hadha shahr. He was the most generous of people in this month. Now, he was generally speaking, alayhi salatu wasalam, the most generous of people, but in this particular month he was even more generous. So it gives us an opportunity of those who have spare money or money that they would normally give anyway in charity, to emphasize that particular action, the action of giving, and to give extra if it's at all possible. This is the month of giving. Number 2 is the fasting itself. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala states in the Quran, كُتِبَ عَلَيْكُمُ الصِّيَامُ كَمَا كُتِبَ عَلَى الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. That fasting has been prescribed for you as it was prescribed for those before you, so that you may become more God-wary, more aware of God. لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. The idea of taqwa is to protect oneself, that you're always constantly aware of God and aware of hududullah, or the boundaries that God has set us. So fasting, we hope that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us the tawfiq this year to complete the month by fasting every day of the month of Ramadan. And that was one of the reasons that the Messenger of God loved the month so much, because he loved to fast. Number 3, the Messenger of God alayhi salatu wasalam considered this particular month to be the month of Al-Quran Al-Kareem. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala states in the Quran, شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان. The month of Ramadan was the month in which the Quran was revealed, a guidance to mankind. وبينات من الهدى, and clear bayinat, meaning clear messages of guidance, من الهدى والفرقان. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed this book according to many on Laylatul Qadr, or the night of power. Laylatul Qadri khayru min alfi shahr. There's a difference of opinion on which night the Quran was first revealed. However, regardless of that situation or that discussion and debate, this is the month of the Quran. The Salaf al-Salihin, the early Muslims, Salaf al-Salihin they say, especially the ulama, they would give up teaching all other books and they would concentrate on the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. People would read more in this month than they would read in any other month. This is an opportunity for those who are not reading the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who have closed it for 11 months, to reopen it, to re-establish a connection with the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The early Muslims, some of them would read a khatma over 2 months, meaning they would finish the Quran over 2 months. That would be half a portion, or half of a section of the Quran if we break the Quran into 30 sections. Others would read less than that. Others would read much more than that. 1 juz a day and complete the Quran in the month of Ramadan. I would advise that one reads according to their capabilities and according to in a manner that they will be able to preserve it after the month of Ramadan, i.e. if you only read a page but you know that when the month of Ramadan finishes you can keep that page up, then read one page. If it's half a page, then it's half a page, but re-establish your relationship with the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Re-establishing one's relationship with the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is twofold. First and foremost is to read the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, al-qira'ah. That also includes listening, that particular point, that if one is missing the Taraweeh prayer, that they listen to the Quran. The second is tadabbur. Tadabbur is to reflect over the words of Allah. Pick a good translation. I recommend one by Dr. Abdul Halim. Oxford Press published it. It's a good translation. And try to read some of it in English, if for those who do not understand the Arabic language, and reflect over the ayat, the signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He has placed within His, that He has mentioned within His blessed book. These are the two ways to reconnect with the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that's another reason that the Messenger of God alayhi salatu wasalam loved this month. Aside from that, the Messenger of God alayhi salatu wasalam also said that God is not in need of your fasting. Meaning, and the hadith continues to discuss or to mention that one's behavior is very, very important in the month of Ramadan. If you're getting angry in the month of Ramadan, know that you have misunderstood the month. If you are using bad language, if you are doing things that are generally considered out of character, or something that's considered dispraised, that's not the state to be in, to be considered one of those who fasts in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That we should pay more attention to our behavior in the month of Ramadan above and beyond any other month of the year. This is the month that we fast. Why? For the sake of Allah Jalla wa Ala, yes, but what does that mean? We fast so that we can reform our character, so that after Ramadan we begin to understand what it feels like to be hungry, what it feels like to be less fortunate, and we've developed our character and we've reformed to some degree our character. Sayyidina Umar radiallahu ta'ala and said, "Hasibu anfusakum qabla an tuhasabu," that take yourselves to account before you're taken to account. So this is the month. If we can't do it in this month, then what month can we do it in? Furthermore, we are all on lockdown, and it seems we will be throughout at least most of Ramadan, which gives us a further opportunity to reflect about our temporality, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can change the affairs of the world at any point, that the most important thing in the world is fulfilling the rights of Allah Jalla wa Ala, the things that Allah has commanded us to do, of most of which are for our own benefit. Some of them are related to our devotion to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but the ahkam, the rulings that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has revealed, they're for the benefits of society and to uphold those rulings. So if our relationship has fallen off a little bit with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that we should try our very, very best to revive it in this month. And keep in mind that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can take away this temporal existence in this life at any point. And to remind ourselves constantly of that. And that should at least encourage us to enjoining good. And enjoining good is very, very important. Furthermore, I would also advise myself and all of you to build better family relationships and ties in our household, first and foremost, with our children, with our spouses, with our siblings. We promote healthy environment in the month of Ramadan, do things for our kids in the month of Ramadan to bring the month to life, whatever that may be, so they enjoy this particular month, that we eat together, and make sure the iftar is all spent together, the sahar, everybody wakes up, a concentration on the fajr prayer. As many things we can do together when we come out of this lockdown, and hopefully at the end of Ramadan we can then continue some of those things that we've been practicing in the month of Ramadan. Inshallah ta'ala, I hope to see all the community of Salihun back at Jumu'ah very, very soon, so we can share that blessed gathering of Jumu'ah again that we've not been able to, that we took to a degree for granted. And we beg Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that those doors are opened again for us, and we join again. And the last piece of advice I want to give, many of the early Muslims, when starting their reading of the Quran, the beginning of Ramadan, would begin with Surah Al-Fath. Why would they begin with Surah Al-Fath? That was a surah, the first verse of which was revealed for Fatu Makkah, when the Prophet ﷺ was given the great opening. And they would read it with the dua that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us an opening in Ramadan al-Mubarak, at least to finish a good portion of the Quran and to rectify our characters. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر لي ولكم وأتوب إليه ولسائر المسلمين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.